Good morning. I'm obviously not Pastor Kirsten. I'm Pastor Dee. Pastor Kirsten is out enjoying the snow out in Minnesota. Yeah. So she asked if I would fill in for her today, and so I'm delighted to be here. This is an interesting passage in the gospel that we have today. And I hope to send you away kind of pondering, thinking of things in a slightly new way, but we'll see how that goes. First thing I want to be sure you don't miss is that the devil knows how to quote Scripture. The devil quotes Scripture very well for the devil's own purposes. And so just because someone quotes Scripture does not mean that they are a servant of God. But I also would like to have you thinking about the devil in a slightly different way. We tend to set God and the devil up as if they are two equals, good and evil. And I'm going to tell you that's just flat not right. I prefer the analogy that of light and darkness or heat and cold. Did you know darkness does not exist? There is not a thing called darkness. There's a thing called light. And when light isn't there, that's darkness. But it's only the absence of light. And the same is true with heat and cold. Heat exists, it's vibration. The physicists can measure the heat. But cold does not exist. It's only when you withdraw heat that things get cold. So heat is greater than cold, light is greater than darkness, and God is greater than the devil just in much the same way. For what is the presence of God, when God is absent, that's where you have evil. But you bring God into that space and evil disappears. So it's a whole different, so you will very rarely hear me preach about the devil. It's hard to avoid it here, but because I do not give the devil power. That does not mean that there's no evil, just like when there's snow, it's cold. Evil exists and can do a great deal of harm, but it exists only as the absence of good. And so whenever good enters, that ends evil. Now I'm going to go on and talk about temptation, because here Jesus was tempted. Now, I think typically you think of temptations as bad, right? Right? Temptations are bad, right? The devil's tempting Jesus, that sounds bad. The devil tempting Jesus helped Jesus to prepare and focus for his ministry. The temptations made Jesus strong for his ministry. And I'll give you a small analogy. I loved Brian talking about the temptation to take the G.I. Joe doll. But with him taking the G.I. Joe doll, even though he gave in to the temptation, he learned from that. And it taught him, and it helped to focus him on what's right and what's wrong. The other day I was at a meeting. I'm very proud I've lost 15 pounds. I only have 10 more to go. And I was at a meeting and they had breakfast, and so I had a breakfast burrito and, avoided the monkey bread, which I dearly love because it's gooey and yummy, and ate a kind of a proper breakfast. And I came back through the room after the meeting and there was still monkey bread there, and believe me, I was tempted to go and take just a little bit of that. Now I want you to know, I want you to know I didn't, but I want you to know whether I had gone back and gotten a little bit of monkey bread or not, the temptation helped me to focus on my goal. That temptation helped me to be very aware that my goal is to lose that weight and that I'm determined to do it. Okay? And so the temptation brought me face to face with my goal. Jesus' temptations brought him face to face with his goal. His goal was to live his life and to die as a ransom for our sins, to live a life that would break the power of sin in our world. Now, it would be really tempting to turn bread into food, and in fact, later on he turned fishes and loaves into enough food to feed 5,000, right? It would be really tempting to break the power of sin by making sure everybody had enough food. It would be really tempting to break the power of sin by demonstrating his power, by jumping off the highest pinnacle of the temple where everyone could see the power of God and say, hey, everybody, look, this is how powerful God is. It would be very tempting to have everyone worship him. Although, frankly, that one always makes me snicker. I don't know how the devil could say with a straight face to the Son of God, I have the power to have everyone worship you. Because that one already belongs to Christ, doesn't it? Very clearly, that is his, and the devil has no right to take it. But it would be tempting to do these things, and it would be right in line to demonstrate God's power and God's love for us. You see, God's power is not in force. I can force you to respect me. I'll just walk in with a machine gun and say, everybody bow down, and you'll do it, right? That's pretty easy. It's almost impossible to force you to love me. Some people know that because they've been in marriages where they've struggled to rekindle the love and know how hard that is. God takes the risk. God chooses not to have us simply obey, but takes the risk of being rejected. Because God desires not so much our obedience as our love. It's always risky to seek love, isn't it? Because when you seek love, the other person's free to reject you. You have no power over whether someone loves you or not. All you can do is demonstrate your deep love and devotion for that person. Now God, we have rules about what God is, right? A God does not die, a God is forever, a God is all-knowing and all-powerful. God gave up all of that. I like to remind people that Jesus had all the power and majesty in heaven and gave that up and made himself dependent upon a teenage mom to decide when he would be fed. Dependent on a teenage mom for his care. And then even more than that, became a refugee to Egypt because of the power of Pharaoh. God gave up all that power and majesty, took a human form, a vulnerable human form, took the risk of us rejecting. Because God doesn't choose a power relationship. God chooses a love relationship. And so all those temptations in the desert, those temptations were temptations to come with power and to demonstrate the power and majesty of God. But Christ's death on the cross demonstrated that God says to us, literally, I would die for you. I would die for you, for you, for you, for you. I will do whatever it takes. I place my life in your hands, for that is the only way to have love. Because love has to be offered freely. And Christ demonstrates that free love in the extreme. And so all the temptations of the devil in the desert helped Jesus to focus and be firm in what his goal and purpose was, To be clear that it's not about your obedience, but about a relationship of love and care. So I hope you'll look at temptation in a new way. And I hope you'll look at God's love for you in a new and deeper way. That God would use all the temptations, all the efforts of the desert to focus laser-like on one thing. Whatever it takes to have a loving relationship with you. Thanks be to God.